Hello, today I'm going to be talking about the fishbowl learning strategy. So the fishbowl learning strategy is a teaching strategy that helps students practice being contributors and listeners in a discussion. Students can ask questions, present opinions, and share information when they sit in the fishbowl circle, while students on the outside of the circle listen carefully to the ideas presented and pay attention to the process. So below here is a diagram, and on the outside, these are going to be the students that are just listening to the discussion, and then group A on the inside, this is going to be the actual fishbowl. So the procedure for the fishbowl strategy, the first thing that you want to do is choose a topic for discussion. The next thing that you're going to do is set up the room. So you're going to have chairs in the center, and these are going to be normally less than half of the students. And then the rest of the students will be on the outside, and you can either have them stand around or they can sit if you want them to take notes. The next thing you're going to do is prepare the students. So you're going to let them know what the discussion topic is going to be. This is going to allow for better discussion. Step 4 is going to be discuss the rules and expectations. Many people are very opinionated, so you want to make sure that they realize that this is a discussion versus a debate. Step 5 will happen after the fishbowl itself. So you will have the students reflect, and they can do this in writing or in a group discussion as well. So the purpose of the fishbowl strategy is going to be that it allows the students to participate. It gives the students an opportunity to share ideas, implements an environment with good discussion, demonstrating the importance of listening and talking, and it's an excellent pre-writing tool. There are some pros and cons for the fishbowl strategy. Some of the pros are going to be that it gets many ideas and points of view. It helps teach different social skills. It can cover a variety of different topics, and it works for all age groups, including adults. Some of the cons are going to be that it can be hard for students that have a hard time focusing, especially if they are outside of the fishbowl. Sometimes a few students tend to take over that are inside of the fishbowl, so that makes it hard sometimes for everyone to get into the discussion. It can also be difficult for students that are shy, and it's important to make sure that students realize it's a debate because that it's not a debate because some students try turning it into a debate. So here are going to be a few examples of the fishbowl strategy. Sometimes they take a second to load.
Guys, I know, just take a deep breath, you guys. Give us a few minutes, okay? Justin, can you stop, please? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen.
Having trouble managing your classroom? Here are some of our favorite tricks of the trade.
All right, we're going to come to this table. Please push in your chairs. Come on around. Okay. Remember, give them space.
Chris Opitz creates a fishbowl so that students can learn lessons in manners and math from each other.
Audience, our voices are off. We're just going to look for evidence of a really great discussion, and then we're going to talk about that afterwards. I began using the fishbowl, having kids really closely observe other kids in discussion, identifying particular types of language, ways to ask questions, how to use manners when disagreeing. And once that foundation is built, then the academics can be so much more thoughtful.
Mike started with 8. Kelly had twice as much as Mike, and Joe had half as much as Kelly.
Every teacher out there has probably said at some point in time, turn to your neighbor and talk about this idea. Look at your teammates and talk about this idea.
I'm not quite kidding. Why did you do those shapes there?
And really watch. If they are talking about the topic that you've asked them to talk about, if they're actually listening to each other and using that language and those social skills, then all of a sudden you have an environment where 30 kids are all learning at the same time.
Share one of your tricks with fellow teachers on Edutopia.
Alrighty, and now I'll play this video.
Hi, I'm Alex for Teach Like This. How do you teach conversation? What is good conversation? You definitely know it when you see it. But how do you teach it? One way to do it is by using the fishbowl teaching method. In a fishbowl activity, 2 students are having a conversation in an inner circle. The rest of the class is surrounding them. Only the 2 people inside the fishbowl are speaking, and everyone else is grading based on a rubric. This fishbowl method allows you to explicitly teach a variety of social skills. It allows for the class a unique opportunity to observe and learn about social interactions. This strategy is a cooperative learning structure for small group or partner discussions, and it can be used in any content area. So how do you do it? Let me tell you. Before you decide who's going to speak in the center, have a discussion with the class about what the goals for the fishbowl are. Examples of possible goals could be ask good questions, or intently listen and use what the other person says in your argument, or listening for accuracy. Once you have your goals outlined, you're ready to move on to the next step. Give a thought-provoking question or problem to the entire class so that they can work on it individually. While this is going on, you can embed reading in here and have students read an article about a similar problem, or you can have them consider artwork or a quotation from the period. Once you've given some time for the students to think about their problem on their own, they might want to get into pairs and groups and share their ideas, or not. However you want to do it, now you're ready to move on to the next step. Once you have your 2 students in the fishbowl, have everyone move around them, thank them for being inside the fishbowl, and acknowledge that they might be nervous about being watched, but to do the best that they can. Next, remind the people inside the fishbowl about their goals, and remind the observers about what their job is during the conversation. After the conversation is over, debrief with the whole class about what they saw, good things and bad things. Before we break up and move back to our desks, I have students at this time add in any other pieces of information that they might find important. I like this part because it makes the conversation become a little bit more organic. That's all for this episode. If you have additional questions, you can connect with me on Twitter, by email, or by commenting down below. And as always, subscribe to get weekly strategies in your newsfeed. I'm Alex, and that's Teach Like This.
Alrighty, so now let's talk about how Fishbowl can work in the adult world. So we know that adult learners need a variety of strategies to learn best, just like any other type of learner. In our book, it says that experimental learning strategies are essential in skills-based classes. It also says that we should use a variety of techniques, even though it's easy to stick with what we already know. So basically, this fishbowl strategy is a good strategy to use because it isn't just normal lecture. It allows people to discuss their opinions, and as adults, we especially like to present our ideas. And according to Deborah Davis, publisher of the Adult Learner's Companion, a guide for adult college students, 2nd edition, it's important to use several strategies to motivate interest and show different perspectives. Overall, this is a good strategy to use in your classroom to change the pace and make a discussion more exciting. Get more students than just your typical outspoken students involved, and it provides a great opportunity for reflection and review. And here are a list of the references that I've used.